Hey guys, doing a video here because it's something that I noticed on my scoop and I want to let you guys know. The seals that are on the bottom, the rubber seals, those are just to keep a gap between your hood and the scoop. You can see mine, I've got a good gap there going around, but what I noticed in the front, it's making contact with my hood and it is rubbing my paint off right there. So obviously it wasn't thick enough, and what I found is, depending on what China person I buy these from on eBay or Amazon, some come with a thicker rubber gasket and some come with a thinner one. Apparently I put the thinner one on my truck and it's making contact here. So I'm going to take the scoop off and I'm probably going to put a little piece of the foam weather stripping that I have on the front of these that you'll see on yours and just put a thin piece on that corner to raise it up right here. I got to figure out how I'm going to touch up my hood. But anyway, I'm going to send this out and hopefully everyone on my channel will see this too if they order a hood scoop. Just something to be aware of. If you see it making contact on your truck, take it off, put something to raise this up. You want a little gap between the hood scoop and the hood. Okay, so I got it off. Here's the damage. Went to the primer. It doesn't look like it went to the metal. Still annoying, but this is all an experiment because I didn't know until I put this on my truck what was going to happen. It was all new to me. So now I'm learning. Good thing is no other contact, no damage anywhere else. So that looks good. I think what I'm going to do, I'm not going to make this complicated. I'm going to use the touch-up paint that I give everybody in the kit. I'm just going to fill it in, and then I'm going to just tape it off, and I'm just going to use a 1K clear to seal it up. And then the edge is going to hit, so it's not really going to show much. And you can see here, it rubbed off the bottom paint on the scoop. So again, I'm going to touch that up, tape it, and I'll do just a 1K clear to seal it in. And then I'm going to pull this, see how thin this seal is, and that's what allowed it to contact. Okay, I'm back a couple days later. So what I did was I used some of the touch-up paint to fill in where it was gouged out. You can see how faded my paint is from 2016 compared to the new mix of the MGM on the color difference there. Anyway, filled it in, just did several layers to try to level it out, and then taped it off, and I did a couple coats of the 1K clear on there, and then I just compounded it out after it was dry for about 24 hours baking in the sun. Here's the other side. So not pretty, I mean you can see that, but the edge of the scoop's gonna come to right about here. To show you what I did on the scoop is I added some thicker foam weather stripping right here along the edge. This is also one of the thicker seals I had spare, so I put that along this edge. So if you have the thicker seal, you're gonna be fine. You should have a gap. I put a couple of the foam pieces right on the corner here to keep that off. I kept the same thin seal on the back, and again the same on this side. Okay, I got it back on. Got a gap. Boy, it's a very small gap. I'd rather have it the size of this, but it's not making contact, so I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. The back looks perfect. So just keep an eye on yours. If you're seeing contact, take it off, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the way I did it. Just figure out something to put as a spacer wherever it's making contact so you don't rub your paint off like I did. I just went for a drive and came back and looked, and there's literally back to no gap on here. So I think that the foam, it doesn't work. It just squishes down. It's got to be a harder rubber like the seal is. So look how that gap is. So I'm gonna have to take this whole thing off again and figure out something that won't squish like those rubber seals, but a little thicker. All right, keep working on this. I've had this thing off like 3-4 times in the last few days. So even with the thicker gasket, it still is hitting the edge over here. So you can see this part's where the gasket's hitting, and then the edge is running into here, and I'm gonna have to put more clear on that because it just scraped off the clear I put on yesterday. So here is the rubber gasket seal material that's kind of thick. So you could get this and just double it up. So I'm gonna put a strip on top of this one right here. This is the problem area. Hopefully that keeps a gap. There was a gap yesterday after I put this on, but then again, I don't know, in the heat, it's 100 degrees in Florida, and driving it just shrunk down. It's crazy. All right, it's back together, and I think this is gonna be the final solution. So it's got a good gap. You can fit probably 2 business cards between that. I went ahead and just took off the old one and just ran an entire new strip of that one I showed in the video down the side. And then same for over here. And the gap looks good, so I shouldn't have any more issues with the paint rubbing. Hope that helps you guys if you're running into this issue.